Now, one of the things that was an important decision for us to make with Maxwell and its architecture design was that it was a cloud-based solution, and so internet access is pretty much required. But it's fair to say that that's kind of ubiquitous these days in professional printing environments. It's pretty rare for it not to be available. People's phone systems are going over it and everything, so it's rarely an issue. We hope, of course, but it rarely seems to be an issue. This particular target is a 567 patch target. We chose it to be a reasonable sampling of the CMYK space, as well as, and it's always a trade-off between patch size and speed. The smaller the patches, the more you get on a page, which is great for characterization purposes, but the longer each scan takes. So in a number of different environments, people wanted the scan to be faster and were less concerned about having a full characterization data set with every scan. Also, something interesting that we plan on doing more work on is that the smaller the patch, the more noisy the ISIS is. In other words, the less accurate it is. Patch sizes of a centimeter or larger in width are recommended. And so if you do a full IT8, the patch size gets smaller than that, because I think an ISIS will go all the way down to 6 millimeters. So it's a trade-off. If people want faster target measuring, we make bigger patches and it's definitely faster, but then you tend to have basically a lower resolution heat map across the page. So there's always a bit of a trade-off that way. That said, if you wanted a full IT8 every time, there's no reason it couldn't be done. Maxwell has some SmartTarget technology in it that we developed for it, and it's also finding its way into some of our other products. And SmartTarget makes it very flexible as far as the reference sets that you use, the color aim sets that you use, and also the targets that you use for sampling. So if you want to do a full IT8 every once in a while, but larger patches or a smaller target or something at other times, that's no problem. You can throw just about any target set at Maxwell, and it'll automatically match the patches up with the color aim to do your reference work and whatever. So that's sort of an unusual system capability as well, as the ability to mix and match targets. Literally one right after the other. You could do a full IT8 and then one of these, and then a small 54 patch ISO target or whatever you wanted, if you wanted to do that. And we have this capability in Maxwell called Selector Sets. So if you upload a target, let's say it's this target. It has finished here, as you can probably see. But let's say this target has some particular patches that you want to look at, like flesh tones or neutrals or something like that. You can upload a subset of so you can take the same target file, delete everything except for a set of patches that you want. Call it like flesh tones, for instance. Upload that into Maxwell, and then when you're setting up metrics to calculate average or max or whatever delta E, you can specifically pull out for any of those metrics using the selector set. So you can say, okay, I want the max delta E of the flesh tones, I want the max F star or whatever you want to call it of the neutrals, I want these different components. So you can pull out a different subset of patches or individual patches from this target for different metrics, and then use them for different reporting purposes. So the spatial part is an add-on to other things that you might do normally. Any sort of typical pass-fail kind of qualifications and that sort of stuff will work. So you can see this, I put it into preview mode, so it printed into basically a PDF document that opened. It's showing us a full-page report of what's going on here. Now this is really just a glorified label. Basically, it's the same mechanism that does the label printing for proof verification, but in this particular case, we're doing a full-page report that can either be viewed on screen or, like we have at some of our customers, they fire it off to a color laser that's sitting nearby, and then tack it up on the side of the press or keep it in a file, or associate it with the target is often what happens. But you can see this target view was generated on the fly right here on this machine, as I said, and then the same information is viewable within Maxwell. So if you are monitoring a system from afar, it's easy to set things like notifiers in Maxwell, so that if some metric fails, you get an email, and you can surf over with your web browser and pull this very same information up and look at it, and give a call to the pressman or whatever you need to do to start working on and fixing the problem. So you can see it says failed in the bottom left corner there. So that's the measurement of a single target, and also the automatic routing that took place there. You'll see press name HP Indigo A. It determined that by the metadata that was in the barcode itself. And these reports are actually pretty customizable. At this moment, we do the customization, or at the very least, we load the customization in. But there's a lot of different possibilities of how you can lay things out differently, different information you can put in, different logos. You can put your own logo in there. You can do a whole bunch of different things to customize this information. And what Maxwell does, or what Color Shuttle does, I should say, is every time you insert that target, while it's scanning, it double checks that it has up-to-date information. And so you can change the logo from your computer, in Chicago, and the very next target that's printed in San Francisco will have a report that has that logo on it. So it keeps itself up to date. As long as the internet connection is there, it keeps itself up to date right away. You can see with Color Shuttle here, I can view some of the statistics as they went through, and also note that the information has been uploaded. And then I can go into, where is it? There. I can go into Maxwell, and should be uploaded into this, I think, right away. Yeah. Now, one of the challenges we have with this particular target is we keep measuring it over and over. The metadata in the target is the print time for that target. And so they all have the same date and time, which is only an issue when we're testing and we're playing with stuff like this. Because otherwise, they'd all have a different time and that sort of thing. But from here, I can go into the target view. So I can take a look at, and it's calculating the delta E and all that sort of stuff to show it to us. Resize this a little bit. But I can take a look at the target view information. I can look at any one of these particular patches. I can look at any one of these different delta E values. That's a delta E 76 at port 4.7, so you can roll over them or drill down into a particular patch. And if it's spectral data, look at the spectral data output, that sort of stuff. So some systems that use the web are cloud-based, or not cloud-based, but are considered cloud systems. They basically just report their information up into the cloud. Maxwell doesn't work that way. Maxwell has all of the information, and Maxwell understands color. So, the Color Shuttle is not going to have any information that Maxwell doesn't. Once it gets up, you have all of the data at your disposal. But it uses, as I mentioned, the SmartTarget capabilities. So you can do things like a quick channel report and it'll automatically extract dot gain information. Now, it might have never seen this target before. You load the reference data into Maxwell itself, but it'll automatically know how to figure out where to pull the black only, yellow only, cyan only, whatever patches from that target so it can do these reports. So it gets to the point where, in some ways, when you want to worry about the target, you can. Otherwise, you never need to worry about the target. So I have no idea where the paper white patch is on this target. I can't remember. But if I click on solid custom colors, it will basically pull out paper white, CMY, K, RGB, 300 and 400% patches. And I can click on the first one and know that that's my paper patch. And it doesn't matter on the target where it was, which is one of the ways that reporting gets very good. We're using it for all sorts of different compliance tests because Maxwell is used for proof verification all the time. And so, we get, the ISO 54 patch target or the Fogger target or whatever it is. It'll pull those patches in, find the patches in the reference sets. So there are a whole bunch of reference sets available in here, but you can upload any set and use it as a color aim. So if there's a new Fogger set, if there's a new whatever, it doesn't matter. You load it in, and you get that, and it'll match the patches up automatically and do that kind of thing. And then you can expand the target. The Digital PressWatch side of this is the matter of saying full page targets are great and we're taking full advantage of them. But Maxwell in general will do that more, that kind of specific compliance testing or whatever pretty easily. And we're making it, we're doing our best to make it as smooth as possible. So we'd love to work with people in the field to hear when it's a pain in the butt to set up, or you know, what could smooth or streamline the process, because we do want to make that as easy as possible to configure. It's always this trade-off that we have with a system. If you build a system that's generalized so that it can do a lot of different things with it, then it tends to be so open that it's difficult for people to quickly get into. And so we're trying to find a happy medium to help that journey for people. So let me quickly jump back into the PowerPoint if I could. Maxwell happily works with ISIS, i1 Pro, or anything dropped into a hot folder, which means it can support a wide variety of things. But the Digital PressWatch solution is really ISIS based. It doesn't have to be XL, but the idea is a full page target with the barcode. The truth of the matter is it could be configured to be used with any instrument, but the real advantage comes with a full page target, so it would need to be a full page target style instrument. Could it be a DTP70 or something like that? Yes, but we don't drive the DTP70 directly, but you could drop those into a hot folder, so the routing capability, that kind of thing, would be a little more manual on your part, but it certainly could do it. There's no problem with that. And is there measurement averaging happening? We're not doing measurement averaging ourselves. The ISIS inherently does that as it measures across the patch, but we're not doing measurement sampling ourselves. I just wanted to talk about how we sell Maxwell. Now, typically, we're actually introducing new pricing with Digital PressWatch. So this particular slide is actually inaccurate, I'm afraid. I should have updated it. But most of Maxwell is sold by the track. Now, a track generally corresponds to a device. So, you know, it might be an inkjet printer or a digital press or something like that kind of idea. You can certainly have more than one track per device. If you have a proofing system that does several simulations and a full gamut output, you could sample each one of those and track them each. But we don't do, because it's cloud-based, we don't do startup fees, we don't do per seat fees, we don't do per server or per user. If you want to set up a system and have 1,000 people sign in to look at some reports, go for it. It's not a problem. We wanted to make sure that the cost of the system to our customers reflected what they needed to do as far as data gathering and the costs that we would incur, of course, in supporting this kind of system. But otherwise, it would leave it wide open. It makes it easier for you to organize stuff within the system because you're not trying to get around some pricing thing. And it's just more straightforward. Now, with the addition of Digital PressWatch, though, we have changed it a bit, and it is, in fact, it's the only one that we've done this way so far, it is priced per press per year. And I'll get into that in a little bit. We don't bundle it with services. We don't bundle it with consumables. And so those of you that supply services make great partners to us. You're not competitors to us. We want to work with you. We want to customize the system if we can, or at least adapt it to the things that you need. And we've got some great results with customers and partnership situations in the field. And there we go. So I wanted to talk a little bit about reporting because it comes in a number of different forms in Maxwell. There's the label or measurement time reporting that you saw. There's the inline reporting, which you also saw as I was navigating through Maxwell and the browse method there. And you can see these different pieces. There's also a timeline that allows you to overlay different data one on top of another, and it syncs it up timeline-wise. So if you want to look at the average delta E of two different presses or something, you can take a look at those. But this new feature that we've been working on, and it has some capabilities now, we'll have more basically within this quarter, is this multi-dimensional reporting, and this thing has legs. This thing it's going to take a while to start demonstrating to people all the things that can be done with it. But the idea behind it is that when we gather all of this information, it's tagged and organized in the database system in such a manner that it makes it